Welcome back to Mornings with Dave King and Matt Martin. We are broadcasting from the Thacker Jewelry Studios, and we want to go straight to the phones with the Car Pro Jerry Reynolds. Jerry, how's it going today?
Hey, good guys. How are y'all?
I'm doing well. How's the weather in Dallas right now?
It's really cloudy and kind of misty.
Hey, that's not bad for, maybe fall's coming.
Boy,
Yeah,
I hope so.
Has fall come to Dallas yet, Jerry?
You know, it was in the 70s this morning early, so maybe.
We're in the 60s here.
Yeah, I know. I heard that a second ago, low 60s. We haven't gotten that low, and we're supposed to be 88 today, but it rained all day yesterday.
Oh.
But
Well,
we needed it.
We could use that rain here, I'll tell you. Well, Jerry, I guess you're in high cotton. You're strutting around this week in a BMW XB.
Yeah, I've got the X6, which is a strange sort of SUV, if you will. BMW calls it a sport activity coupe, which I don't care. BMW and Mercedes both do this a lot, but no vehicle with four doors will ever be a coupe to me. But that's what they call it. It's a nice SUV, and it sets up really well. It's got car-like tendencies, and it's a typical BMW. BMWs drive very unique, and this one is no different. It's got the iDrive X40 system, which is all-wheel drive, and that helps with the handling. The interior is just spectacular. This thing is kind of a pearl white with brown interior, and I can't remember the last car I had with a real true brown interior, but it's very well done. It's very rich. Vehicle is loaded. It's got everything you can put on one, coming in at $72,000, which is kind of the going rate for luxury SUVs these days. Does not have a third row seat, but it's got two very roomy rows for occupants. The back seat is actually quite roomy. And it's got some cool features like you would expect on a BMW. It's got a CarPlay and Android Auto, fantastic rear view camera system that gives you an overhead view of the car, which is handy when you're parking. But, you know, remote start, it's a very nice vehicle. You dread the next car that you have after you've had a car like the Corvette. And so, luckily for me, this is so polar opposite, even though they're the same price. I mean, the Corvette was $72,000. This one's $72,000, but you couldn't have two cars that were more different.
Yeah, well, I mean, and so I'm sure it's gonna go to a different group of people. But I have to ask you this: if you had $72,000 right now just to throw down, and you could have either one, which one would you buy?
Oh, I'd go with the Corvette for sure.
Like I said, I know that you've got a totally different audience there, a totally different group of people that are going to need the BMW four-door versus a Corvette, but, you know.
Yeah, and you know, this thing is a really comfortable driver. The looks are sort of polarizing in that people either love it or they hate it. And I'll be honest, this hasn't been a very popular model, and I think it is because it's got that really defined egg shape to it. It's round, you know. It's more of a hatchback to me than an SUV, even though it sets up as high as it does. It's got the heads-up display, and it's nice if you like it. This thing is actually a joy to drive. I haven't quite got over, and I haven't since this thing has been out, but I haven't quite got over the looks. I'm not sure I'm in love with the exterior looks, but for an X6, this one is pretty.
Hey, I'll tell you, I like the front of it. I just don't like the back of it.
I'm with you.
I mean, like you said, it's not an SUV at all. It's a hatchback. It's almost I've got to ask, does the trunk go into the back of the car?
Yeah, it does.
I don't know. It's like very hatchback-ish to me. I mean, if this would have been late 90s, early 2000s, they'd have called it a hatchback.
Yeah, but you can get a lot more money for it if you call it an SUV.
Yeah, no, but yeah, I mean, to me, that's the one thing that. But I like the front of it, though. I think looking at the front, it looks nice.
Yeah, it's typical BMW in the front with the dual kidney grills. BMW's got a very unique front end look. Some beautiful 20-inch wheels. There's a lot of attributes to this. It's probably not. It's nothing that would be on my shopping list, but the people who get these tend to really love them, and I can see that because of the way it drives and handles, and that's typical BMW.
Yeah.
Hey, but Jerry, there's just a lot of people that just want to be driving that BMW just for the name, if nothing else.
Well, and
no question.
And the handling, like you said, they're very unique. And if you enjoy a BMW, then you're gonna like a BMW.
Jerry, I have a question. And we've talked about this before, but industry-wide, I know. I mean, about all you see on the road almost is the SUVs now. Have they just about taken over the car market?
They have actually. Sedans and hatchback cars are down to around 30% of the market now, whereas up to 5 years ago, it had never been under 50%. So we're 70% trucks and SUVs today, and those numbers continue to rise, which is why you see some of the automakers get out of the car business, the sedan business. But it's short-sighted because the thing that'll make cars get back on top is gas prices. We've had an unprecedented run of low gas prices. And when gas shoots up, it happens every time. Everybody wants to get rid of their big cars, and they want to get into small cars.
Well, now, wait a second. You're telling me something I must not have known. Are you saying that the SUVs are gas hogs compared to the sedans?
Well, some of them are, absolutely. In fact, most are. It's rare to find an SUV, unless it's a hybrid that will come anywhere close to the average fuel economy of a car. And part of it is weight. SUVs are a lot heavier. They're higher profile, so there's more resistance to the wind. Yeah, cars, there's a lot of cars out there that will get you 40 miles to the gallon out on the highway, and there's no SUV that will do that.
No.
And I also think that for electric cars and hybrids to come back into popularity, you're going to have the same thing happen.
No question. It happens every time. I mean, the most popular hybrid in America is the Toyota Prius, and I think it's the best hybrid in America as well. And you can barely give one away right now, but let something happen in the Middle East, and gas prices go to $3.50 and $4 a gallon here, which means there'll be $5 in California. Suddenly, you won't be able to find one, and you're going to pay a premium for it.
Yeah. All right. Well, Jerry, we're pretty much out of time, but do you want to highlight something on carprousa.com?
I had a fun article this week, guys, that I put together. If you've graduated from high school in the last 40 years, I tell you what the most popular car in America was the year you graduated. A lot of fun. Take a look.
That will be fun. All right.
I'm going to go look at that right now.
All right, Jerry. Thank you so much for coming on. I want to remind everyone you're on 11 to 1 every Saturday here on News Talk 95.1 FM, 790 AM KFYO.